Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the UK Student Finance Talk this afternoon. We're just going to wait another minute or so for other people to join the session, and then we will start. Okay, welcome everybody. I'm Natalie from the Education Liaison team, and I'm joined by my colleagues Ife, who works alongside us, and Jude, who is from our Wellbeing and Student Support Finance team, who will be able to answer all of your questions in the Q&A. Today, this session will be recorded and shared with you after the event, and it will appear online on the on-demand page after the Get Into Uni week. So this will, and we'll also send a link in an email if you attended today. Okay, so here we go. So what we're going to look at today is we're going to look at student loans, tuition fee loans, maintenance loans, financial support, how to pay back your loan, talk a bit about bursaries and scholarships and how you can support yourself, a bit about budgeting and what you need to do next as a student.
Now, the 4 key points that you need to remember are you can get financial support to help you with the cost of higher education from the government. You only have to pay this loan back after you finish your studies and you are earning above a certain amount, which we will go over in this presentation. And then any outstanding loan payment, it's written off after 30 years, even if you haven't paid it all. And then additional support is available for those who might need it. We're going to go through all of this in more detail throughout the presentation.
Thank you. So the student loan is made up of 2 parts. There's a tuition fee loan and a maintenance loan. It's not like a bank loan. And if you change your mind, once you apply, you can cancel your application with the loan company before you start studying. And you do not have to start paying it back until you're earning a wage.
Okay, so with the tuition fee loan, the government can provide you with a loan to cover your cost of your course. How to apply. So firstly, you need to decide what course and where you want to study. Then you need to go on gov.uk/student-finance to actually apply. This can take up to 6 weeks for your application to be processed. So if you haven't started, you can have a look at it now, I would say. The money is also directly paid to the chosen university in 3 installments per year. So at the start of every single term. And if you won't need to pay, you won't need to pay anything back until you fully left university and you are earning over a certain level, as I said. And for this case, it is £27,295 a year.
Okay, thank you. The maintenance loan, what is it? The maintenance loan it depends on what your circumstances are. So they will look at if you are under the age of 25, they will look at your household income, where you live and what you want to study. For instance, if you're studying in London, where the cost of living is slightly higher, you may be eligible for a slightly higher maintenance loan. You may be eligible for a long course loan as well. For some courses, the courses are slightly longer than others. So again, it just depends on each course. With a maintenance loan, it is paid in 3 installments, a bit like the tuition fee loan, and it's paid directly to you in your bank account. So, for example, the guys that are starting in September, as long as you've applied already, and everything is in place, and you're fully enrolled at the university, you should get your payment about 2 weeks after you start your course. So that's quite early. And then your second instalment will be around the beginning of January, and the third instalment is around Easter time. So what I would say to you is plan and make sure that you've got a budget and you're spending smartly, guys.
Okay, so these are the maximum amount of maintenance loans available for a standard full-time course. So depending on where you're studying, this varies. So overseas study as part of a UK-based course, the most you can get in this case is 10,866. If you're living away from home and you're studying in London, the most you can get in this case is 12,382. If you're living away from home and you're studying outside of London, the most in this case is 9,488. And then if you're living with your parents or guardians, the most in this case is 7,987. And you can work this all out on gov.uk/student finance calculator. So you can kind of guess and see how much you will be entitled for.
Thank you. So the maintenance loans for living away from home, as Ife just explained, it is £4,127 per year this year, and the minimum is £2,976. Oh no, it's 8,000. It's 2,976. Yeah, with your income. So now we're going to launch a poll just to give you an idea. So if your household income is 25,000, what is the maximum amount of loan that you can receive? Is it 5,380, 3,928, or 4,127? If your household income is £50,000, what's the maximum loan you can receive? These polls are anonymous, guys. Okay, thank you, everyone. So looking at the first one, let's put the results up. Yep, most people have 50% have said 4,127, which is correct. And if your household income is 50,000, what's the maximum that you could get? It is 2,976. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so additional support. So disabled students can receive a lot of support while in higher education from their university, and this is through the Disabled Student Allowance, and these are available with additional costs that you may face in relation to your studies because of your disability. So if you feel like you might fall underneath that segment, please do have a look at this allowance because it could be really, really helpful. Those who are studying nursing, midwifery, and aligned health profession, you are also might be eligible for extra support financially, and this could be £5,000 plus more. Just like with the other support that I just spoke about, if you do feel like you fall underneath this as well, please do have a look. And then there also might be some grants available for those who have a financially dependent child or adult or children, more than one child. Please do have a look. Additional support is there to obviously help you, so make the most of it. If you're not 100% sure if you'll fall underneath any of these support that is provided, please just have a look and see and try your luck, because it can be very, very helpful in the long run.
Thank you. So repaying your loan. You don't need to start repaying your loan until you've finished the course, and that will be the April after you finish your course. So if you finish in the July, say you were finishing in July 2021, the new tax year will start in April 2022. That's when you start paying it. So it's the year afterwards. But you also have to be earning over the threshold, which currently stands at £27,295. But each year that does usually change. So for students applying for 2022, that could change slightly. So when you only ever pay back 9% of what you earn above the threshold, which is £27,295. And you treat it like a tax, really, and it's taken straight from your salary if you're employed. If you're self-employed, then you have to declare that, and I'm assuming that will be taken when you complete your tax returns each year. The one important thing to remember is interest is charged on your student finance from the minute you start getting your student loan and your maintenance loans. Check out the gov.co.uk website where you will find all of that information. And the most important thing is you don't have to start paying it back until you're earning £27,295.
Okay, so we have got a little activity now, and this is about Fari. So Fari graduated Middlesex University with a marketing degree in June 2018, and she got a summer job working in a cafe, earning £18,000 a year. So does Fari need to pay back her loan? Hold on, let me... Okay. In October 2018, she started as a marketing officer on 25,000 in May 2019, and Fari was promoted and is now on a salary of £28,000. Does she need to pay back her loan?
Ife, that's the wrong poll that's come up. Okay, just put it in the chat, yes or no. What do you think, guys? There you go. So if you want to answer these questions, does Fari need to pay back her loan? So 100%, yeah, okay. Does Fari need to pay back her loan if she is earning 28,000? Okay.
Amazing.
Share the results. So yeah, if you're looking at that, 87% of you said no, which is correct in the first instance. And then does Fari need to pay back her loan if she's earning 28,000? Yes, she does.
Amazing. Thank you.
Remember, it's 9% of the difference between her salary and the threshold of 27,000. So 9% of the difference of the 700, so that's the £705, is £63 is what Fari would have to pay back each month, just to give you an idea. Yeah. So bursaries and scholarships. This year, for the first time, we've got new Ready for Anything awards, and we're passionate about making our high quality education accessible to you all. This award gives you essential support work worth up to £1,000, so you can make the most of your journey through uni with us. Plus, to get to choose your reward, so it's personal to you. Ife, do you want to say anything about that award?
Yeah. So with the award, if you do win it, you can pick from 4 different rewards, which is amazing. And this is to help you smoothly transition into university. So it's very personal to yourself. And this can be the tech pack, commuter pack, fitness pack, or the wellbeing pack. As Natalie said, every single award is up to £1,000. So for example, with the tech pack, you have the chance of winning like an Apple MacBook. With the fitness one, you can have some personal training sessions discounted, as well as a pass to our fitness hub for the year. Commuter pack would be getting travel credit to help you commute to and from university. And then with the wellbeing pack, we've got things like headspace vouchers, and then wellbeing packs, subscriptions, which are sent directly to you. So it's really amazing. So please do have a look. We've got more information on our fees and funding webpage as well about this award.
I would recommend that you start making your application for that now. If you register your interest if you're applying for 2021, and then we will be in touch shortly with the application form. And there will be deadlines that you will need to meet for that. If you're a high achiever as well, there may be specific bursaries or scholarships for that available. If you're from a low household income, again, there may be something for you there. You need to just research all of the universities that you're thinking of going to, where they will list all of their separate bursaries and scholarships. The most important thing to say here is these are not, you don't have to pay these back. These will be given to you.
Okay, so budgeting tips. So depending on your circumstances, you might need to budget a bit more and see, you know, where you can actually get more financial like support and stuff. So we've got a few tips that might help you whilst you are budgeting. So for example, you might have to get a part-time job or a summer job whilst you're studying. You can maybe ask your parents or your guardians for some financial support if they can. Another way in which you can, you know, support yourself is by opening a student bank account with a 0% interest overdraft facility. So this basically means popping down to whatever bank that offers this. So for example, Santander, and seeing if you can open an overdraft, which will have no interest charged on it up until you graduate. That's how Santander do it, but you need to obviously be careful and see if you can afford this. Then check that you're getting the correct funding you're entitled to. So double check everything on your application. If you feel like the funding that you've been allocated seems a bit low, give Student Finance a call, go on their website as well and see if this can be altered and increased. And then apply for grants and scholarships from the university that you are going to be studying at. If you're not 100% sure on all the grants or the scholarships you might be eligible for, go on to our website. We have a lot of information on there. Definitely try for any grant, any scholarship, I would say, because like this is your chance to really take this opportunity. And then look for money saving tips. So maybe some budgeting sheets that you can create for yourself so you know your spendings and your outgoings as well. And then ask for help. Asking for help can be really helpful as well. But there's also a 1-minute budget on savethestudent.org, which is really helpful. So please do have a look at that.
And obviously look for all the student discounts that are available to you as well.
Exactly.
So for most universities, you could work for them usually as a student ambassador. They're good hourly rates of pay. You meet lifelong friends. You get to learn a lot more about the university you're working with. You get lots of work experience. So, and they are usually, we have course ambassadors, we have student ambassadors that help us deliver open days, whether it's virtually or in person, editing videos, creating content, visiting schools for us, are some of the examples of where students work for us. So it's, and most universities have a scheme like that. You will need to apply for that particular roles. Look at when their applications open and when their deadlines close. It's just important that you apply if you really want to get involved with the university and get a part-time job. It's a good way of earning extra cash, is what I would say.
Okay, so the Middlesex Student Welfare Advice Team, SWAT. This team is basically here to help any students who might be facing any financial, practical, or legal difficulties whilst they're studying at Middlesex. Obviously, we don't plan for anything bad to happen in any of these areas, but it's really, really nice to know that if something does come up, this team is here to help you at Middlesex. So just a few examples of issues that they can help you with are debt and money management issues, housing issues, student loans, grants and bursaries issues, and welfare benefits, consumer queries, visa applications and immigration matters, fee assessment queries, and miscellaneous issues. So anything falling underneath any of this, they're going to be helpful to you. And at another university, they'll probably still have a team like this, but they'll just be called something else. So that would mean you just need to find what they are and then you can contact them.
Thank you. So your next steps are, if you're applying for 2021 and you haven't already applied, you need to make your application as soon as possible, is what I would say to you, and ensure that you've given all the right information. If you're applying for 2022, applications for that will open around Easter time next year. So watch out for when student finance open. A good tip here is, if you follow student finance on Twitter, you will see when student finance opens. So you'll be getting their feeds. It's just a good way of looking at when student finance opens and when to start making your applications, is what I would say. And do your research. Look at where the free money is that you are able to apply for. There's lots of information on particular websites, and like savethestudent.org, discoveruni.gov.uk is another great website. The moneyadviceservice.org.uk is a great place to look at if there's any other money, and the moneysavingsexpert.com/students website. All of this information will be shared with you afterwards. So it's just really important to make sure that you're getting what you're entitled to. So thank you for listening to us today. All of this information will be on our YouTube channel. We will be able to answer questions live now. Please, we will now go to the Q&A. I think Jude is there and has maybe been answering some of the questions. So if you've got any questions, please put the questions in there. I will look at some of the questions that have been answered so that I can read them out, because some people may have the same sort of questions. Is there any more questions? Are there any full-time, is there any full scholarships? Not at our university, but some may offer those types of scholarships. There's a scholarship website where there's lots and lots of information about that, and there's also companies that offer scholarships to students as well. So again, just look at that. How to apply in Middlesex. If you're applying for our scholarships on our bursaries page, if you go to our fees and fundings page, you will find all of the links there. Are there any sort of mature students? Anybody can apply for our scholarships. Our Ready for Anything awards, anybody can apply. There's no age limit on there. The only thing for most of the bursaries and scholarships I've seen in previously is that you have to meet whatever the criteria is to apply for that scholarship. Are there any scholarships? What would be a good monthly budget for living in London? Oh, where's that question?
Questions keep jumping about, don't they, Natalie? It's hard to
Sorry.
following
Would
them.
be a good monthly budget for living in London, asking an international student, because I don't really know about life there. And what I would look at is, if you're looking at the budgets, look at how much your rent's going to be every month. So for instance, my son is at university right now, so I know how he should be budgeting and what we are spending while he's at university. I think his accommodation is around £1,300 per term, and so that will be a term's what, 3 months, just over 3 months. It's between £400 and £500 per month. If you're living in London, I would say you're looking at how much do you think a cost of living in London is, Ife, for a room, a student room? About 500,
600
£600 a month.
Yeah, I'd say rent is nearer to 600 to 800, depending on whether you're in halls of residence or not.
Okay, and would that include bills as well?
Halls does, yeah, so that makes life a little bit easier.
Yeah, and then obviously you need to think about food, and if you need any books and all of your other resources. If you if you've got an expensive habit like my son has, buying expensive trainers, those sorts of things as well. just so it's just about living as well. So maybe if you're looking to £600 to £800 per month in rent, and then what, between £30 to £50 per week in food, maybe. And then obviously maybe travel, you need some money for travel as well. So that just gives you an idea, really. It depends on the person that's saying that their parent lives in the UK. Would I be eligible to apply for a government scholarship? You would need to have a look at that, and you would need to look at the student finance pages to see what you're eligible for. So still open on your, yes, our Ready for Anything awards are open at the moment. Some bursaries are open already, and scholarships are open if they are available. Would it be good to have a monthly budget for living in London? Yeah, we've done that one. We've done these. What are we up to now? What about if you already have a student finance account? Hang on.
Yeah, that's just gone because I've just answered that in the chat. So if you've got, and that's a really good question actually, so if you've got a student funding account already because you've done an access course, that's called further education. So the funding for higher education is separate, so you can still apply for the loans and the tuition fees that Natalie and Ify talked to you about during that session.
Yeah. And you may be eligible, actually, if you've done an access course and you then go on to higher education and you pass your higher education, you may be eligible for funding back from your, if you had to pay for your access course. You need to just check that out yourself. If you're eligible for a full-time maintenance loan, you'll get your loan for the next 3 years. Obviously, each year you will have to apply for it again, and they will ask you your circumstances again each year. So if you get a part-time job, then that is, you can have a part-time job. If you're a student ambassador, for instance, we only allow student ambassadors to work a maximum of 16 hours per week because they've got full-time education as well.
In terms of part-time earnings, if you're in receipt of a full-time maintenance loan, the Students' Loan Company and Student Finance England it's only earnings after you've graduated that they're interested in. So there's any part-time work you do during your studies will not impact on your maintenance loan.
Thank you. What's the next one? How much money I just spend to get admission? Okay, if you look at our if you look at a course within our website, you will see how much the course will cost you to apply to study at Middlesex University, and then that'll be on the fees page of the course that you're applying for. Each course might be slightly different, and you may have to apply for other things within your course as well. For instance, if you have to do a field trip or anything like that, will may incur some charges as well. What else are we up to? So we've answered that one. Live, done.
I think it's,
oh, they keep moving. Let's start at the top. We've already answered that. I'd like to ask if, yeah, we've answered that. Let's get one of what we've answered. Is the accommodation on campus? Yeah, we do have accommodation very close to the campus. We have, I think it's 4 halls of residence that are dotted. There is one opposite the university, and there's a few down in, is it Collinhurst?
yeah.
Collindale, is it? Yeah. There are some not too far away as well, which are a short bus ride away. And I think there's some towards Wembley as well.
Yeah, right virtually at the doors of Wembley. You couldn't be any closer.
Okay. So there are various, but if you go onto our website, there are virtual tours of all of the halls of residence, and you can also see how far they are from the university as well. Can student finance cover study abroad? Can student finance cover study abroad?
It can. It depends on what type of study abroad. So we'd need to ask some more questions about that. So maybe if you could, were to create an inquiry, the welfare team can pick that up and just ask you a bit more detail.
Okay. There's somebody asking about if they're eligible for a maintenance loan. They are an adult with children and they are unemployed and single. I would say that if you go onto the student finance calculator, which if they spoke about, and put all of your circumstances in, that will give you an idea as to how much you should be earning. That you should be eligible for in the way of maintenance loans. I'd like to study as a mature. What I would say to the person that has already got a degree in maybe social work.
Yeah, social work.
And they want to do a refresh. What I'd be saying to you is, I would be, if you work for somebody, they may be able to help you with a refresher type course.
Yeah, if you already hold a degree from any country, then that is considered an equivalent level qualification, and you will not be entitled for any further funding unless it's in one of the exemptions. So for example, nursing is an exempt course. So if you already hold a degree and then you want to go into nursing, you can get all of the funding that has been mentioned in this session.
Oh, thank you. How to apply for an NHS bursary for nursing?
So you apply to the NHS for the Learner Support Fund, and they do the £5,000 isn't means tested, and then there are some additional allowances as well that you can apply for from the NHS, and it's not a loan, but you have to be eligible and show that you're eligible for the maintenance loan and the tuition fee loans in order to qualify for it.
Thank you. Can I apply for NHS loan support and course fees at the same time? No, I think you apply for them separately, don't you? The NHS Learner Support Fund and the course fees.
Yeah, fees are from Student Finance England, the Learner Support Fund, including the training grant and travel costs, are from the NHS.
What advice can you give to a mature student who will be commuting from home to university in full-time studies? What financial support can they access to in regard to maintenance? Obviously, each person's circumstances are different. With the maintenance loan, you would need to put that into the calculator and work out what you're eligible for. But if you are eligible for maintenance and maintenance loans, then you can apply for the Ready for Anything awards, where we will be given, you could apply specifically for the commuter bursary. And you, as a student, you can get a student Oyster card as well, which will discount your the cost of travel as well.
Yeah, if you buy a weekly, I think weekly or monthly, certainly pass, then you get 30% off as a student.
My student finance is approved to send it to them, but I cannot see my entitlement summary. You you should have had a letter with it on.
Yeah, it should be when you log on to your account, it should be under, it used to be called view correspondence, but obviously nobody knew what the word correspondence meant, so it's now letters. So there should be a section that says letters.
Yeah, and each year you get a letter because you have to apply for student finance every year, and you get a letter in the post with the information on it as well. My rent is £1,000. Am I allowed to apply for bursary? If you're eligible, then you can apply for any bursaries and grants. Anybody can, as long as you're eligible for that and you meet the terms and conditions. Can I apply for?
I think we've answered that one, haven't we?
We've already answered that one. How do I get rid of it? Oh, right, let me. Is it possible for my study to study part-time of a course online, because my for that I would suggest, if you're an international student, you need to contact the international office for further information regarding that.
Yeah, so on the main, so the courses from September will still be hybrid, so there will be a mix of online and some on-campus teaching. So I know the Home Office have extended the time where an international student has to come to the UK. So that's been extended now to April 2022. So there is course information on the main mdx.ac.uk where it will talk still loosely, because the situation changes daily, as I'm sure you can appreciate, but they do talk there. Oh God, someone's car alarm's gone off, sorry. Oh, the joys. But yeah, you'll be able to see there per subject, per course, what they're planning on doing.
Thank you. So I've answered that one. So when should we apply for the NHS bursary? You should
they're a bit later than student finance.
Student finance around Easter, and I think, if I remember rightly, this year I think it was quite late. It was May or June.
I think it's June, July time, because they want you to have been assessed by student finance first, because that is the eligibility criteria. So it wouldn't, I guess it doesn't make sense to open it earlier.
No. Must application for student finance in terms of scholarships maintenance loans should be done now, or have you started your course? Well, no, you need to do it now. You need to apply for all of your student finance now, because you will be expected to pay your student fees when you arrive in September. And if you're applying for tuition fees, then that needs to be in place for September, really.
Yeah.
Is there any more questions?
There was one question that I'd already answered that I thought might be useful just to share, and that's about how you actually apply for a job at the university, say as one of the student ambassadors. So just to say, our employment team are called MDX Works, and you'll find information about them on mdx.ac.uk. And we have an agency called Unitemps. So you need to register with that agency, submit your CV, and then you'll be able to see the vacancies that we've got throughout the year.
Mm-hmm. And they do a big recruitment drive usually in September for new student ambassadors. That I'm usually part of the assessment centres for that. So they do open it up quite soon after you start, maybe, usually. But what I would say is, as Jude has just said, if you go to mdx.uk, mdx.ac.uk/MDX Works, there'll be lots of information about that on there. Is there another question? What is a student ambassador? Is somebody that is a student currently at the university that is applying for a part-time job within the university, and you represent the university, whether that be in doing some admin work, maybe an event, anything. A student ambassador, really. They do lots of different varied roles: outreach work, filing, type admin, answering the telephone. There's lots of different roles that student ambassadors fulfill.
The childcare grant, you applied directly through student finance.
Yes, you need to apply for your maintenance loan and your tuition fee loan through the student UK Student Finance England now, and then and also the NHS Learning Support Fund separately. You can do that now as well. But the most important thing is here, you need to be eligible for student finance and maintenance loan to get the NHS Learning Support Fund. Thank you. Done that one. Thank you. Is there any more questions? We've done that one. What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think we've finished? Have we answered all the questions?
We have.
Okay.
Oh, one more. Ex-military tuition fees will be paid by Abdul, what I would suggest is through the main university webpage, if you create an inquiry, it will be diverted to the welfare team to ask that, because there are specifics regarding benefits and full-time study, and you're getting funding from alternative provision, etc. Yes, you could still apply for the maintenance loan and the tuition fees, but if you're getting your fees paid from somewhere else, then you wouldn't need to. But I think just to have a more in-depth conversation, it would be useful to create an inquiry. So from the main page, there's a chat function which you could say, I'd like my query to be passed to welfare, and it will get sent to us, or you can create an inquiry.
Okay. I think that's all of the questions, should we say?
Yeah.
Any more questions? Oh, one more. What's that?
So if you're an overseas student, the current fee instalments are on the website under the finance, fees and payments. If you're we won't have any postgrads here, will we? No. So yeah, so again, the instalments, or if you're a private fee payer, again, the instalment plans are on the fees and finance pages. If you're on universal credit, does it stop once you start getting the student grant? So just to be clear, it's a student loan, not a grant, so you do have to pay it back. The only categories of university students that can qualify for universal credit and be a full-time student are single parents with children under 18 and somebody with a disability. So there are very few full-time students that can get universal credit. And the maintenance loan is taken into account as income, whether you apply for it or not. And when you become a full-time student, you do need to notify the DWP that you've had a change in your circumstances. Benefits can be confusing, I do understand that.
Thank you. Oh, we got any more? Okay.
Depends how fast people can type, doesn't it?
Yeah. Okay. What I would say is thanks for joining us this afternoon. Oh, we've got another question. Oh, that says thanks. What I would say is go and enjoy the sunshine that we have today for the rest of the day and maybe the weekend, hopefully. And if you've got any more questions, if you go to our chat on our course pages, it will get directed to the right person. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye. Stop sharing. Okay.